This is my first show of the Cardinals Bird Row. We are going to have a great show in today. I have a lot of stuff to talk about. Um, of course, we're going to talk about Paul Goldsmith. We're going to talk about pitching. Who do I think will make an impact? Who I don't think will make an impact? What do I think about J Mart right now? I don't know if J Mart is what we need at this point in time, especially when the outfield's so crowded. Like I said, we have a lot to talk about. If you want to call Lynn, I do have a phone number. It's 972-460-6087. Again, the phone number to call in and speak to me is 972-460-6077. I would love for everybody to call and talk to me. Like I said, this is my first show. Um, so let's talk about some stuff. I'm excited. If you know me, anybody knows me knows that I'm like the biggest baseball fan. Huge, huge, huge. Um, so here we go. So basically, the only big thing um was basically Paul Goldsmith. That's all we really got. I'm not saying that we didn't get anybody else, but he's the only one that's worth mentioning. The first baseman, which we needed a first baseman, J Mart was just okay at first base, but you already know this is something. Uh, we had to address. Don't get me wrong, I like Matt Carpenter there. I liked him uh, with everybody else. Well, not everybody else. I liked him there, but I'd rather have him at third base. A lot of people didn't believe me that we should have him at third base. Um, but what else were we supposed to do? We couldn't put him in the outfield. At first base, Matt Carpenter didn't look the best, and we couldn't take him out of the lineup because, well, we just couldn't take him out of the lineup. So, but yeah, let's talk about Goldsmith. We're going to talk about it. First baseman, Goldsmith, 6-time All Star, 3-time Gold Glove, 4-time Silver Slugger. Right now, his career batting average is 297, which, to me, it could be better, but, you know, it's better than what we have. So you can't really get mad at that. Um, he was a 2015 defensive player. He was traded to the Cardinals for Luke Weaver, pitcher Luke Weaver, catcher Carson Kelly, and infielder Andy Young, and 2019 competitive balance round draft pick. I will say this: a lot of people were mad. A lot of people were mad about this situation um, because they basically gave them nothing, nothing for Goldsmith. And when I tell you they were upset, that they were upset, their fans were upset. It was pure comedy. Um, I wouldn't blame them though, because like I said, we traded him for Luke Weaver, Carson Kelly, and the infielder actually wasn't even. I think he wasn't even a starter. He was a starter on the AAA team, but he was not in the big leagues yet. And you got a draft pick. So right now, the Cardinals are already talking about extending Goldsmith before even seeing him on the field. That's how confident they are in their uh, in this pick. I'm excited. I'm like truly excited to see what he's going to do. Like I said, Matt Carpenter will go to third base. J Mart. Let's talk about J Mart real quick. J Mart basically is only going to play if they are pitching left-handed. Yes, I read that. I read that correct. I read it the other day because they were thinking about trading him, and Dodgers were on him. Dodgers were on him immediately. They said that they wanted him. The trade talks were hot, and then they just kind of died down. Uh, so I looked it up, and I was like, why do we have so many people in the outfield? And they said they want to keep him. They want to keep his bat, which I understand. I understand why they want to keep his bat. His bat was amazing. But we have so many people in the outfield. So we have him. That was one of our people that we have out in the outfield. But like I stated, he's only going to, from what I am reading, Jose Martinez is only going to play if they're getting a left-handed pitcher, or they needed to, someone gets hurt. But I don't know if someone gets hurt because of this gentleman right here, Tyler O'Neill. Will he play? That's another one. That's another player that we have available that we don't know what we're going to do with. We are so, like I said, we are so crowded in the outfield, and it's crazy. Right now we have Tyler O'Neill, which basically he played majority of the time when Fowler was out last year. Right now, Fowler is healthy from what we know. Ozuna is in Dominican Republic, and he just had surgery on that shoulder. They said he's doing really well, but will he be back in time for the season? I'm not for sure if he will be back in time. Oh, excuse me. But I do think he will be. He's going to make an impact. It's Ozuna. But then we also have Bader out there in the center field. So again, we have these three main starters, because I'm pretty sure I'm probably about 75% sure right now, because it's only February, that Ozuna will be back in time. So what happens to Tyler O'Neill? I personally think that he might be uh sent back to AAA just for a little bit, and they're going to allow him to see what's going on with Fowler. I'm in a couple different groups of Cardinals groups, and they really think that he should not be playing at all. Since Fowler had that last season, Fowler, I'm not going to argue and say he looked great. He looked horrible. I wasn't on the bandwagon to let Fowler go, but I was on the bandwagon. We need to do something about him. We cannot allow him to keep playing, and he knows he did bad. If you're a baseball player, if you've ever played a sport, especially baseball, when you're going through a slump. When your numbers are not there. And last year, he knows it. His batting average was the worst he ever had. It was a .1, it was a 180. He only had 8 home runs. He only had 31 RBIs. He looked garbage. So again, we understand. We get it. We get it. We get it that he looked horrible. But I'm not gonna just kick him off the bus. I'm not. We got to see what he's going to do, because we have so many players that are in the outfield. Everybody wants us to get Harper, and everybody wants us to get, these other big name outfielders. We are already crowded. Too many people. I'm not going to say this anymore. We have too many people in the outfield. If you don't believe me, just look at our roster right now. Uh, Everybody wants Harper. I'm going to touch on this real quick because I am not the biggest Harper fan. Don't get me wrong. I do think he's a good player. I do think that he'll make an impact on a team, but I do not think he will make the impact on a team that people want. I know it sounds crazy, but on our team, especially the Cardinals, we have young players that are bonding still. You can tell by last year, the collision between O'Neal and Bader. I don't know if you watched if anybody was watching, watch that game, how they collided a couple times in the same game. And you can tell it's because they're young players. Yes, that's not the excuse for them to be running into each other, but they have to work on bonding with each other. I don't think Harper will help. I think he would mess up their bond. That's just my opinion. And this, I want 10 years. It's crazy too. A lot of teams are going away from that. They don't want a 10-year contract player. And that's why that's one of the biggest reasons he's not signed yet, is because they do not want to come out a 10-year contract. He might be lucky to get a 6 year, a 5 year, but I don't think he's going to get a 10-year. But like I said, these are my opinions. If you don't like my opinion, it's not for yours to like. That's all I can say. Because I'm looking at our outfield. Besides, Ozuna, Bader, we do have Munoz that can play basically every position out there. So again, why would we need another outfielder? But from what I've been hearing, Bryce Harper pursued. They're not even going to try to go after Bryce Harper. So if you are a fan and you're in that Cardinals need Bryce Harper, well, they're not going with it. And they're worried. And their biggest worry is that 10-year contract. Like I stated before, most teams do not want to come out of that 10-year contract. So if you don't like it, talk to Mo. Talk to them. Yachty's contract ends in 2020. Everybody knows that. But since Chris Bryant came out and decided to run his mouth about St. Louis and how boring it is, he's obviously never lived in St. Louis. He's only barely been there for only weekend games. Well, you can't do much when you're playing on the weekend. You're not supposed to do a lot. And he said my hometown, city of St. Louis was boring. Well, Yachty took offense to that. He came back and said some words, and then he has been deciding to stay after 2020. He said that this contract, that he was this rivalry is going to definitely go into the season. I want to thank Chris Bryant, because it's kind of like, even though Yachty's always had that fire, that passion, um, I feel like it's gotten more. It's gotten definitely more. Um, and I'm happy. I'm definitely happy about this. Uh, we're gonna wait 2 seconds because we might have my first guest on. Uh, he was supposed to be on a little bit earlier, but we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk. He had definitely some issues, kind of like I did. We're just gonna be honest. Um, I really want to go talk about the Cardinals Hall of Fame that just came out. They're going to be voting on that too. The last six, two will get in. Um, and of course, I want to talk about some Jack Flaherty. I want to talk about pitching, and I really want to get his intake on pitching. What's going on? What's happening? Our pitching right now is what I think is our weakness. A lot of people think like it's something else. I don't think so. I think our offense is actually looking better, especially with Goldsmith added to the lineup. But and everybody kind of bashes Wong, and he's a great defensive player. Uh, Jerko is still still on our team. So he's a great bat that we needed to come back up. So, like I stated before, Yachty may stay after 2020, thanks to Chris Bryant of the Cubs. But it's only with the Cardinals. He's not going anywhere else. Only to the Cardinals. That's it. That's it. That is it. Yeah, 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 Mike. My friend Mike, he has been one of my greatest friends right now. He helped me make everything possible. Thanks to him. Thank you. He said that Yachty is always going at someone. He's not really going at someone, but he just doesn't take BS. His BS level is very minimal and it's very short. And so if he feels like that you are going at him in an irresponsible way, it's going to happen. But good morning. We have Phil on the line. I have known Phil forever and a decade. Do you hear me?
About 20 years.
Yes. Yeah. I just happened to find your senior picture. We ain't gonna talk about that, but I did find your senior picture the other day.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so I was running a little behind. A tenant had something wrong with her toilet, and I had to show up and do it.
It's okay. But Phil Fry is from St. Louis. Like I said, we have known each other forever, and like I said, forever. So I really wanted to get your talk because I talked about J Mart and I talked about, basically our outfield I feel crowded. And it's definitely crowded. And I talked about how I feel what's going to happen. This is just my opinion and you can give me yours. I think Tyler O'Neill will spend part of the first part of the season in the minors in AAA. Because we have too many people. What do you think?
Well, right field especially is crowded because they're trying to get Dexter Fowler another shot.
Mm-hmm.
They're also they want J Mark out there too, and where else better to put him in the right field? But here's the deal: Ozuna may not be ready, or the team has like a lower trust in thinking that Ozuna will be ready for opening day. So they might ship one of those guys out there. And, of course, Bader's going to be in center.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a revolving door.
Yeah.
At least for the first month or two. And I know locally everybody's talking about, well, we got to get Fowler. We're going to try to get Fowler a shot, seeing how he does in spring training. But we got to see what happens in spring training first, but I don't know what's going to happen either. But I'm thinking that it's going to start with Fowler.
Yeah, it's definitely going to start with him. Like, I like Fowler, but he needs to step up. That 180 batting average last season.
Oh, he had a horrible last year. He did good in 2017, though.
Yeah. It was like it was like two different people. It's like we went from Jekyll and Hyde. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde, definitely. I mean, if he can go up and, he came out publicly about his depression and, like there was this huge public spat up here about it, because basically the whole town turned on him and he wasn't going to show up for the winter warm-up and everybody's like, yo. So he seems like he's more committed, and he's going to try to do. He's going to try to make his best effort to be our starting right fielder, but it's still going to be a platoon because now we have Goldschmidt at first. What are you going to do with J Mark's back?
Exactly. Like I stated earlier, right before you called, I've been reading, and they said J Mart is only going to start against left-hand starters. Or either in the left and right field when needed.
Yeah, and I don't know why they didn't, not that I wanted them to, but try to deal him off somewhere, preferably to the American League where he could be a DH for somebody and we get something else for him. I mean, I still want his bat, but that probably would have been a smarter move.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're darn it. It's going to be a pickle out there, especially in right.
Yeah. I thought, like I thought he was going to go to the Dodgers because that was like one of the teams that was like actually after Jose Martinez, but it died quickly, and now
Puig's gone too. He's in Cincinnati.
Yeah, so I thought he was going to go, and then the talks just kind of died down, and that was basically it. So I'm gonna go on.
I don't know.
We're gonna go on.
I don't know if they're still going.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You don't know if they might trade him still.
Yeah.
We might be on. I might be on next week, and hey, Jose Martinez has been traded to.
Yeah. He's still out there. I mean, he's going to start this year as a Cardinal, definitely. But, and I think, Tyler O'Neill, he's probably not going to be on. He'd probably start in Memphis.
Yeah, I think he's going to start in Memphis too. Yeah, I like him.
They'll give Bauer a shot.
Mm-hmm.
They'll see what Martinez does. I don't know if he's improved defensively or not, but they'll definitely give him a shot out there too, because they definitely want the bat.
Yeah. That bat is huge, and I agree with you. That's one of the reasons he did not. That's the biggest reason they didn't get rid of him was his bat, because it definitely wasn't for his defense.
No. He's totally a defense liability, but totally. But
yeah,
they're gonna do something because offense was always the problem.
Yeah.
Pitching. Starting pitching's great, and relief is, it's better. It's definitely better with Andrew Miller, but
that's our weakness. That's, to me, is our weakness. I think our starters,
of course.
Since we're talking about pitching, because that's what I was going to go to next, I've been reading Jack Flaherty is getting pitching advice from Hall of Famer Bob Gibson, which is, great. Last year I forgot that he was in the fifth, like in the NFL, in the National League rookie voting. I forgot he was number 5. I knew he was in top 10, but I totally forgot he was in top 5. I think Jack Flaherty is going to be an excellent addition this year again. But the starting rotation, if we started today, would be Michaelis, Martinez, Carlos Martinez, Flaherty, Waka, and Wainwright.
Yes. Now, is Michaelis going to do what he did last year, or was that just kind of a flash in the pan? I mean, is he
exactly
have teams figured him out? I mean, do we expect? I mean, because he was, a super, just the biggest surprise, because he was probably definitely top 10 to, well, I'll say top 10 to 15 NL pitcher last year.
Yeah. Michaelis, he definitely extended. I mean, he definitely, he led the National League in winning percentage.
Yeah.
And so 18-4 was his record last season, 2.83 ERA. And I know they want to extend him, but it's kind of like what you're saying. It's like, should we extend him? Should we not? Or, is this going to be, was it just a fluke that he had all this? Because before it was Japan, right? Last 3 years he's pitched in Japan. Yeah. So it's like,
he was in Japan, and he was with Texas before he went to Japan.
Okay. Yeah. And he hasn't pitched in the National Leagues in forever, and we got him, and then he's doing amazing.
Yeah, do we expect him to be what he was last year, or does another Dexter Fowler situation happen where I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna carry us, and you look up and he's just above or just above 500 with like a 4.0 ERA, and they were like, oh, what do we do now?
Yeah, like, what are we supposed to, extend him? we don't know if what we're going to do if we extend him right now. And
I
that's
mean,
the, like, I want to extend him, don't get me wrong, but I
yeah,
feel like it's kind of like what they did with, oh, what's our infielder? And I can see his face, Paul DeYoung. DeYoung, they kind of
yeah.
signed him too early. And I'm not saying DeYoung is bad, but I
Oh,
think they extended him too early.
DeYoung will get you 20 bombs, but is he going to hit for average?
Exactly. And that's the biggest question.
He'll get you some dingers, but he's what's going to happen between the dingers? If we can get him to start hitting more average, we can put a little more trust in him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so it's just so up in the air. And as far as the bench goes, Jairo Munoz,
I like him.
Another huge surprise that no one talks about.
Yes, I like him. I talked about him, like I said, a little bit before you got on, and I was like, thank God for him because he can play every position.
Yeah, and he's very, very solid at the plate. He's probably going to get you somewhere in the 270s and very,
Mm-hmm.
And last year, I thought he was very, very clutch in some situations where, I wouldn't have counted on him being that. So
definitely.
So, hopefully we have that happen. And also, I don't know if Jerko's going to be back to do super utility as well, but
he's back. He's still on
him as well.
He's still on the roster. I double checked and made sure because I like Jerko, but he's still on the roster. So we'll see what they do. And that's another possibility of a person that might get traded. I like him, but like we said, we're talking about how stacked we are, and this is probably one of those seasons we don't have. I feel, to me, and I'm not saying you have to feel like this, but anybody that's listening, I feel this situation right now, we have more utility players than we have pitching. And right now, we already talked about the 4 rotation that might start, like we said. Right now, if everybody's healthy, everybody's fine. It's Michaelis, Martinez, Flaherty, Walker, Wainwright. So then we have after
Reyes is out there too.
Yeah. So after that,
he comes back healthy. I don't know. I don't think they want him in the bullpen just yet. I don't think they want him in the bullpen at all.
Yeah, and see, they're hoping he does something right and he stays healthy. This is like a big part of that young squad that they have, that their dreams of starting with this young team and growing with each other. He's a big part of it. And I don't know if they'll give up on him after, like, let's just say he gets hurt again. I don't know what's going to happen to his career after, if he gets pulled up.
Oh yeah, this is his. I don't want to say it's his last chance, but he can't have the season-ending injury again.
Yeah.
But I will say this: hopefully the younger guys, all those young guys you brought up last year in the bullpen, Pops, De Leon, Hudson, Gomber, Gant, all the experience they got last year will benefit them.
Yeah, we have John at 3.47 ERA. Gomber's ERA was like a 4, but I actually liked him probably besides Dakota Hudson. I probably liked him the most besides Ponce de Leon, because and you'll definitely agree with me, we watched Ponce de Leon get hit by that ball in the head. We never thought he was going to pitch again.
Yeah.
If you're a Cardinals, we never ever thought he was going to pitch again on that. And that was the craziest thing, because that was scary. It was probably one of the most scariest things I ever dealt with, was watching him get hit and then him to come back to do what he did. Yeah, like he went from 0-2, but his ERA was still a 2.7, which isn't bad for somebody that got smacked in the head, needed brain surgery.
I was hoping for a Jimmy Nelson type bounce back after Jimmy Nelson for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
after he got drilled in the head a couple of years ago by Tommy Pham. I was actually at that game. It was
Ooh,
very loud.
I remember that.
And that game was actually in Milwaukee. Me and Derek went up there, and Tommy Pham drilled him in the head. You heard that.
Ooh.
And he bounced back well. I'm hoping the same for Ponce de Leon. But, hopefully the experience that the young guys got last year, guys came up from Memphis, will pay off. That's what I'm hoping. And everybody's kind of like, they were good, but you gotta remember they were young. It's not like a Brett Cecil situation where we got to pay them, a whole bunch of money if you're a left-hand specialist, and
he ain't specializing in nothing.
Nothing out of it. When we got in from Toronto, I was like, yes. And nothing's come of it.
Nothing. Like, he cut the hair. He's been doing everything. Nothing's helping. Nothing's helping Cecil.
No, not at all. I don't know what they're expecting out of him. If they want him to be the left-handed specialist, or they're just going to use him for. I don't know. I guess spring training will tell the tale for him too.
Yeah, well, he's getting paid too much not to do nothing, so he needs to step up.
Just like Dexter Fowler is.
Yeah, both of the people that we're paying out. This is why, and I think that's one of the big reasons why the Cardinals right now are scared to cough up money, because the two people are
absolutely
the two people that are taking all our money are not performing. And they can, we see the criticism of our GM and of our owner every day. It doesn't matter if you're in a baseball group or you're just Cardinals fan. You see the criticism every day in articles and everything.
Oh yeah, they're calling them out.
They call them out, but it's my whole thing is, I don't think, and I think we both said this. It's like, I don't think we did enough on adding pitching. Like you stated earlier, we only added Andrew Miller, and he was the relief for Cleveland. Last year, wasn't he hurt last year, or he got hurt?
Yeah, he spent time off. He spent some time on the DL, but I think he played most of the time. But
his ERA last year was like one of his highest. It was a 4.2. But 2007, his ERA was a 1.44. And that's what you want. You want that 2007, 2016 years of Andrew Miller that played phenomenal in relief, not the last year.
Andrew. No, you don't want that. But, he's still probably definitely 1A as far as relief.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to anybody, he's still probably the best reliever out there, wherever you want to stick him. If you're on probably Josh Hader from Milwaukee probably kind of passed him up last year for coming in, putting in 2 innings and shutting guys down. But I know Andrew Miller's better at that, and I really hope that Mike Maddox has something special for him.
Yeah,
because he seems to do well with the veterans, and he's doing good with the young kids too. But this year's going to tell the tale see if those guys, with their major league experience, all the experience they got last year, see if they can step it up. And I really think they can.
I do, and I do think he's going. I just wish because that was last year. That was our biggest concern, was our bullpen lost so many games for us. Like our record would have been way better.
I know.
Way better than it was.
I know. I can think of 6 games alone.
Right?
The 6 games I know that cost us at least 6 wins last year. At least. That's just like straight bullpen, not the bullpen did this and other things like it was just totally on the bullpen where they blew the game.
Yeah, there's not
our starting pitching is some of the best I've seen in years.
Yeah, it's not even our starters. It was our bullpen.
No, the starters are fine. I have no problem with the starters. They're kind of only, with no offense, they're just the only guys that are keeping us, relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they're doing their thing. We weren't hitting the ball, or we were doing just enough. And, the bullpen comes in and, there you go. You got, eighth, you blow in bottom of the eighth, or bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, we watch.
And the offense can't pick you up, but hopefully, now that Goldschmidt's on the roster, you got to start pitching to the other guys. Ozuna, Carpenter, and hopefully he has the same kind of year he had last year. Oh my
God! Please let Carpenter.
July and August. But that remains to be seen too. And I like Matt Carpenter, but I think he's just so all or nothing to me sometimes.
Exactly. We don't need 50,000 home runs all the time. We just need you to get on base and get that person. When it's first and third and it's only one out, we just need you to get that person from third home.
And I felt that he felt like he had to do it since we had really nothing else. Didn't get much out of Ozuna. Ozuna had some good games last year, and I think he's gonna see better pitching.
Yeah,
just like everybody else, because Paul Goldschmidt's gonna he's shown me he's gonna be a 290 hitter.
Yeah, I think he's gonna.
I don't know where you're going to stick him in the lineup.
That's what I was just thinking about. Get out of my head. I was literally just thinking about, like, where do you put him? Some people already kind of putting him at cleanup at number 3. But it's like, do you put him there? Or do you put Ozuna there? Because Ozuna
do you 2 him just so you can, you put him at 2? You put, I don't know.
I don't know.
Were they putting the young at 3 last year?
They did put him at 3 last year, and so it's like,
I mean,
it's crazy because last year, because I read something over the weekend, and since you just brought it up, and it was talking about Paul DeJong, he hit the 44 home runs last year. He could have been the team's third hitter, and he could be number 3 in 2019. Yeah. But again, it's the same thing. Where do you put Goldschmidt? Where do you put Matt Carpenter, Goldschmidt? Where do you put Ozuna?
And the way they're talking, they're like, you figure they put, your best hitter at 3, but they're playing with the back of Mike. Maybe we should put them at 2 and 4.
Yeah.
And you remember last year they started throwing Yachty at, was it 2?
Mm-hmm.
They start putting Yachty at 2. That kind of worked for a while.
It did.
So what we have? Okay, this is fake. Okay, Carp, Yachty,
Ozuna,
Goldschmidt. Let's just say Goldschmidt
is number 3.
He's our best hitter, but him, Ozuna, the young.
We'll put Wong
right. Whether it be Martinez or O'Neill, then Bader and Wong.
Yeah, but I would put Bader. I would put Bader probably at I think we're at number 6, so I'll probably put Bader at number 6.
Bader at 6, yeah.
I'll probably put Bader at 6, Wong at 7. Because
it's like I was thinking whoever's. If we got enough trustees to bat it right, they put him in 6, whether it be Fowler or O'Neill.
Mm-hmm.
But O'Neill's kind of O'Neill's still, he's got the numbers, but he still needs a little polishing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think whoever's in that right field spot is probably going to be our 6th guy. Or you might put Bader there and put whoever's in right field at 7. And of course, you're going to put Wong at 8.
And then your pitcher.
Pull some Tony La Russa stuff and put the pitcher at 8.
They won't do that. But I would die laughing if they did.
I know they won't do that, but I was like,
it would be great if they did. I would die laughing.
No. And we're going into year 6 or 7 with Colton Wong, aren't we?
Yes.
And the defense is elite, but
it's our.
He's still kind of. I don't want to call him a liability at the plate, like early Ozzie Smith was, because he can do some. He did 2 walk-offs last year. He can get there in clutch moments.
Mm-hmm.
But just to go around and at bat, you don't expect anything out of him at the plate.
And that's why I put Wong so low, because you got to keep Wong out there, because his defense is amazing.
Yeah.
You got to keep
the
his
defense is elite. You got to.
You got to. So you just put him in the 7 or 8
we were
spot.
Just talking about the bench is deep.
Mm-hmm.
Munoz is.
Where do you put him? If he starts, where do you put Munoz?
I was like, I wish there was somewhere where I could put him. Most every day.
Yeah.
Because he's not like, he doesn't have any real weaknesses, but he's kind of a jack of all trades there.
Mm-hmm.
Master of none. But he'll give you more production than, he'll give you more plate production than, some of the starters.
Exactly.
I think he's better. I think he's better here than Bader. Definitely better here than Wong. And at times better than DeYoung.
Yeah. I like Bader. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I like Bader too.
Bader.
I think Bader's he's found a home in center field with them, especially after they let Tommy Pham go.
I still miss Pham.
That's exactly why they let Tommy Pham go. Because he emerged out there. Tommy Pham wasn't happy here, and I'm glad to see him doing well down in Tampa.
Yep. But he misses our fan base. People were making fun of him, and I said, "What
people
did you?"
Actually showing up to the game.
Exactly, not disguised as seats. But
oh yeah, in that aquarium in the stadium.
So right now, technically, if you go on Cardinals website, MLB website, look at the roster. Funny thing, Yachty does not have a backup on our roster, because I thought I was crazy because they let because they let go of
Pena back. Have they picked Pena back up yet?
They picked him up, but he's on a minor league deal. He's only right now. He's on a
down last year. I thought he did a fantastic job.
I thought he did wonderful, and he is the favorite to win the job. But there is a kid he'll be at spring training, and hopefully I'll get to see him. His name is Andrew Keisner. And I'm probably not even saying. I'm probably destroying his last name. I'm probably destroying his last name, but he's number 5 in the prospects for our own top 10 prospects. He's number 5. They think he might make an appearance this season. They're guessing, of course. The big guessers, but it's between him and Pena. Because since they let Carson Kelly in that trade, because they let Pena go to keep Carson Kelly, then they shipped him off. Now, if you look at the I told my mom, I was like, "Hey, Mom, if you go on the roster, there's no backup." She was like, "What?" I said, "I thought it was crazy too," and I went on like different websites, like I was losing my mind. And I was like,
hopefully they're expecting Pena to come back, and because I thought Pena was better than Kelly anyway.
Me too.
Good for Kelly for actually going down to Arizona and getting a chance to actually play.
Mm-hmm.
Because Yachty wasn't. Yachty's the way he talks, he's not letting up anytime soon. He's still gonna give you 140, 150 games.
Yep.
If you barring injury, so he wants to be out there for every pitch.
Yes, and I really thought that I thought he was going to. That's why we're going to spring training, because I told Mom, I said, "Mom, Yachty's contract ends in 2020. He's talking about retiring. We need to go to spring training now." So she was like, "Okay." And so that's what we are going to spring training. We're going in March. I think we're going March 15th through the 19th. We're going to 2 games, me and my mom. And I'm like super excited because we haven't been in a few years. That's one thing I do miss about living in Florida and living in Orlando. It was a 2-hour drive. We went to spring training games all the time.
You can get living in Orlando. I remember we were down there one time. I guess Detroit Tigers are in Lakeland, which is a bar. And I remember being out there and seeing a game with them because we were down there and looking for something to do. And yeah, I mean it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's like you got a game, you got a game, you got a game, you got a game. Yes.
Yeah.
The last part I want to talk about before we, run out of time, is Cardinals Hall of Fame. I know we talked about it on my Facebook, which I think we had different people. The Cardinals Hall of Fame right now is who they're going to start voting for is Scott Rowland, Keith Hernandez,
Right.
pitcher John Tudor, Matty Moe, or I'm sorry, Matt Morris, Jason Isenheiser, and because a lot of people they're listening, they're not Cardinals fans. They're like, Matt Moe, who is that? Matt Morris, Jason Isenheiser, of course, and Edgar Renteria. My picks were Scotty Too Hotty Rowland. That was my nickname for him, and Edgar Renteria. I know a lot of people were on your bandwagon with, was it Scott Rowland and Keith Hernandez? Yes. And then Isenhauser. Like, how do you, this is probably one of the hardest Hall of Fames that I'm like, I like all of them.
Yeah. I mean, Edgar Renteria.
Mm-hmm. I loved him at shortstop. I loved him.
Like after we dealt away Royce Clayton.
Oh my God.
He came in and played phenomenal for 5 good years. It was very, very, and all his World Series heroics with, Florida and San Francisco. And, Rowland, you got to put him in. He's probably the best defensive third baseman of our generation defensively. And he was very, very solid at the plate.
God, yes.
Very solid.
Yeah, he was. So it's like, you only can pick 2.
We don't remember Keith Hernandez like that, especially as a Cardinal, but 11 straight Gold Gloves and an MVP award.
You have to.
The falling out was bad, with Whitey before they shipped him off to the Mets, but
he got a ring with us in 82. So he got a ring with us in 82. So then he got
a ring with us in 82. He was 79 MVP or co-MVP with Willie Stargell. And 11 straight Gold Gloves. 11 straight.
It's like, who do you vote for? And then you got Izzy. Everybody, it's like Izzy was like,
everybody likes to think of Izzy was great and everything. Everybody remembers him blowing saves too, just like most of all of our closers. If you're not Bruce Sutter or Lee Smith.
I'm sorry, but I remember the positive Izzy. I remember the positive Izzy. I don't want to think of the negative because everybody has a bad side. Everybody has a slump in pitching,
but
batting.
Like that's when you bring Izzy up, everybody's like, "Oh, Izzy blows saves. Izzy does this. Izzy does that."
No.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? I mean, we all can't be Mariano Rivera. But he was better than most closers in his day.
Yes.
But and totally in that era of Cardinal baseball, we weren't losing at all. So you look at it and when we did lose games and Izzy gave him up and everybody's like, oh, Izzy's a liability closer. So, but
yeah, this is one of the hardest. This is definitely one of the hardest times of Hall of Fame, and I was just like, I want all of them. I want all of them. Like,
hopefully, I mean, who's gonna? I mean, sooner or later, you're gonna have to start putting in some of these guys from the 2000s.
Yeah,
who are part of all those teams.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who, and I really think it's going to be Scotty and Keith Hernandez. I really do think that. That's my guess.
I think we're in the 02 World Series if Alex Cintron doesn't run into him in the playoffs, and then we blow it against San Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah, that was when we got him, I was like, yo, we're for real now.
I'll never forget getting Edgar Renteria because that was when they decided he just won a World Series. They just won a World Series. He just got his ring, and then they unloaded the whole team, and we got him. And I was like, what?
And I remember that's how I thought about Jim Evans. Everybody, and everybody's not like me and you. Everybody around here are Cardinal fans, not baseball fans.
Yeah.
You and I are baseball fans. Like, we got Jim Evans. Like, yo, we got Jim Evans. Everybody's like, who?
Who?
I'm like, Jim Evans from the Anaheim Angels.
Who? Yeah, and then I love Jimmy. I love Jimmy Evans. When I played softball, it wasn't Yachty there. It was, the man that nobody likes. It was Matheny. And I followed Matheny. People forget Matheny was a catcher, and Matheny molded Yachty. I'm not saying Yachty wasn't good without Matheny, but he taught Yachty a lot. He taught Yachty a lot, and people forget that.
Oh yeah, people have such short-term memory about it.
Just like, dude,
everything. And Matheny, when we got him from Milwaukee, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Right, because he was the bridge between Pagnazi and Yachty.
Yeah.
Like, 98, 97, 98 when Matheny showed up. So, so when Yachty became everyday in 05.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bridge, and he was very.
It was like right after his. It was like right after his injury, right? Or did he go to the Brewer? Or is that when? No, that was Jimmy that went to the Brewer. It was like right after. I think it was like right when there was an injury or something involved. But yeah, 05 is when Yachty became full time, and he's never let go.
Yeah. He went to after 04 season. He went to the Giants.
Giants, that's what it was. I was like, I knew he played
he went
like
to the Giants and was there for a couple years.
Yeah, and it was just so weird seeing him back there. It was just so.
Yeah. I remember he took that ball off the jaw and just spit the blood out and took his base. That was playing for Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I don't know. I have hope. I always do. I have a buddy at my other job who's a Cubs fan. He wants to bet me. He says, Goldschmidt had Barry and Bryant. I'm like, batting average? Yes. Home runs? I don't know.
Oh no, but batting average, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the Cubs are, an idol. I'm not saying they're not going to be any better than what they were. They're going to be good, but they're not going to be better.
I don't think they're going to be better. I don't I thought unless because
they'll be good.
Who did they?
They'll be better.
There's not too many teams. The only team I'm kind of worried about now is the Reds because they got Puig.
They have Puig and Kemp.
Yeah, that's the only team I'm actually
and Sonny Gray.
Yeah, that's the only team I'm really worried about. All the years that we hear fans, that was the team for years that we were not scared of. It was not, we were scared of, maybe not scared, but we were concerned because we're not, of the Cubs and their acquisitions and then, the Brewers and what they've been doing the last few years. But now it's like the Reds are like, I guess we're tired of being at the bottom.
They got a lot of money not working for them right now. They spent all that money on Tyler Chatwood, all that money on Yu Darvish. And, they're not getting anywhere that they got to eat that.
Yeah.
Now the Reds, and here's my deal with the Reds last year. The Reds last year, they could hit.
Mm-hmm.
They had like 3 or 4 guys hit over 300. Of course, Rado, Jeanette, I forget the other kid's name. And they have that catcher, what's that catcher's name? Oh, I forget his name. Slipsy. They could all hit. They just had this really young, inconsistent. Yes. They had this really young, inconsistent pitching, but that's getting better too. No. I don't know.
Was it Barnhart? Tucker Barnhart?
Tucker Barnhart, that's his name.
Yes, he was good. But yeah, there was their pitching. So now it's like, okay, do they get it all together and they become a team to be reckoned with that we haven't seen in forever?
I mean, everybody's trying to in Pittsburgh. They got Chris Archer last year. He's still there, and I think they, and Pittsburgh's not going to be bad.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's not going to be bad. It's just everybody knew Reds were going to be at the bottom. That's pretty much. Yeah. Now it's like it's going to change. It's going to be a tough division. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to change, and we've always had one of the tougher divisions. It was never like easy breezy. Our divisions were always tight and hard to, and that's why last year it was down to like the last game, and because our division is so tough.
There's no real teams in there where it's like, that team is going to lose 100 games.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that in our division.
No.
We can count on at least one of the teams losing 100 games or 90 games where everybody's tough.
Yeah.
The Pirates won't win the division, but they're not going to be easy out.
Yeah, they won't. They're going to fight. They're going to try to be spoiler. If they do, if they're not going to make make just like in the playoffs and wild card, they're going to be a spoiler.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But that is our time. I actually want to thank you so much, Phil, for coming on and talking to me. I love talking baseball. I'm very excited that you were my very first guest to come on. Because I know how knowledgeable you are. I know how great you love baseball as much as I do. People laugh. You probably don't get it so much that you're in St. Louis, hear that you're a baseball fan. They're like, oh, yeah, woo. But me living in Dallas now, and they find out that I'm a bigger baseball fan than football, people just stare at me. And so,
baseball.
Exactly.
Oh, baseball's always, say this Cardinals, I just love the game. It's like I watch baseball, like here in St. Louis, it's just Cardinal fans.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the Cardinals. I watch all the games. I get the package every year.
Yeah, we got the package.
All the marquee games. I watch baseball, and I can sit there and watch two-hit, one-hit pitchers duels, be excited about it, or or guys just digging them out the park. So
yes, I get the ML.
It's not boring to me. Like
it's not to me at all. It's not.
Where they're trying to switch things up and earn fans. I mean, people, your fans are your fans.
Mm-hmm.
People, either you like it or you don't.
Exactly. But
yeah. Well, all right then. I'll try next week. I'm not on call, so
sweet. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you later.
All right, thanks.
All right. I would like to thank everybody that has been listening. I would like to thank Phil again for coming on. This was a great show to me, just because I get to talk about Cardinals baseball in my Cardinals room. Again, if you would like to come on the show, please find me, LaDonna Samani. I'm on Facebook. You can find 27 Outs Baseball. That's who I am under. Who the network I'm under is 27 Outs Baseball. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We're our Spreaker. Follow us on Spreaker so you can catch every show. Again, 27 Outs Baseball. My name is LaDonna Samani. Samani. But definitely come follow us. It's great to have people come on. And I might have a couple people on, and one might not even be a Cardinals fan, but we'll see how that goes. Just to have a his and hers different perspective. But again, thank you for listening, and I will catch you next week at Saturday at 10 a.m. I promise to be on time this time, and have a great weekend.